They are like in horse racing, sometimes a horse is given blinkers so that it can only see uko mbele. It is only distractions huku. So our politicians akina Raila wanaona tu hivi. Hawezi ona mtu wako pande hii, anaona tu ile the same people they have been seeing.
Yes.
They can't go beyond them. They are the same people.
Yeah.
No. We must abandon one term and all those kind of things and say there is something fundamentally wrong with our country, that God has gifted with resources. A country with so many educated people, with such a serious capacity, not making progress at all the time going backwards, doing things which people should have done 30 years ago. A government abducting its citizens, senselessly killing young people.
Tired of the same old shopping experience? Step into a smarter way to shop with Whiteson Group, Kenya's go-to online store for quality you can trust. From gadgets and homeware to everyday essentials, we deliver convenience right to your door. Fast shopping, secure payments, and top-notch customer care, all in one place. Visit whitesongroup.com today. Whiteson Group, simple, reliable, delivered.
A compensation framework has been set by the president for victims of protests starting all the way from 2017. Professor Prof Muta, who is a senior government advisor on constitution and human rights affairs, will be chairing this compensation framework committee. We're with Prof. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Prof, look, it's high time we look at those who died and compensate their families, however little we can, because we cannot compensate life. First of all, this move from the president, do you accept it as an analyst that even during Uhuru's time we did not have this framework or meeting or committee to look at deaths and how we can compensate families?
You know, it's a good thing. It's a good thing because there are families who have spent so much money catering for treatment of people who suffered injuries during the many demonstrations we have had. There are families who have lost the only breadwinners. I mean, people who died during demonstrations. So it's a good gesture that we have some funds set aside and we establish a framework for some form, sort of compensation. It's a good idea.
The person who's chairing is getting a lot of backlash from Kalonzo and Wamalo, Prof Muta. They're saying, how can a hyena look into the matters of cows? How can government, which has conducted these killings, be the one to look at who ought to be compensated or not? They're saying, let's take it to the Kenya Human Rights Commission. What do you think about this?
That's what I was trying to say. You see, it's a good gesture, but in isolation, it can't work. Before you talk about compensating, you must address the root cause of the problem. Because otherwise, you'll compensate this year, go through the same motion, be forced to compensate 2 years later. So you need to look at it holistically. That's why other countries have things they call the truth and the reconciliation approaches, like a TJRC, Truth and Reconciliation Commission, that looks at the whole issue of why Kenyans would be doing these things to themselves. Why would our government send its own police officers to kill its own citizens? You know?
Yes.
And is it really government? Or is it some overzealous people? And that's not an idle question. Because if you look at 2007, 2008, it was clear that some things that took place were outside the command of the police. Yeah, outside the command. There are people, political figures with enough power to order the police to do something without the commissioner of police, Hussein Ali.
Being aware of
the
tasks
it came out.
Given.
So even these things, that's why you need an elaborate kind of arrangement. So people are looking at the bigger picture. Why is our politics so bad that after every elections, we have to have demonstrations, we have to have death, destruction of property, coffins heading to Kisumu, you know, people's property being destroyed, savings being destroyed overnight, and every election cycle, we are there.
Yeah.
So it cannot be reduced to getting Makao Mutua to talk about compensation. That's not good.
So which way?
Because we shall do it again another time. And that's why this country requires, not even a TJRC, this country requires to sit down and have a conversation. You can call it a national convention. You can call it a conclave. Whatever you call it. So long as people see the need to sit down as a people and discuss one simple question. Why are we doing so badly as a country? 60 years. Kenyan children are still going to school with jiggers in their toes. 60 years after independence. People are still dying from preventable diseases, treatable diseases. Diseases that stopped killing people 300, 200 years ago elsewhere. Why are we doing so badly?
And we're doing badly.
Is it because our politics is wrong? And the answer is yes. Then we begin to advance the conversation. How do we address the political question? How do we make our politics work for us so that it may open the door for economic development?
What do you mean politics is wrong? You know, that's a very broad statement to make.
Yes.
Because some would say, leave the politics out of it. Let's just, if you're elected, just follow the constitution. You know, that is...
Why are people not following the constitution? Nobody's following the constitution. How come you get a very good person and make him president, Kibaki or whoever you want, and a few years down the line, he's just a monster like any other monster who has been there before? How come we all celebrated Ruto and now we are all crying? There must be something fundamentally wrong somewhere. Yeah. And unless you fix that thing which is fundamentally wrong somewhere, whoever you put in State House will not achieve anything. So there must be something you need to address. That's what I'm saying. You need a national conversation in a convention or a conclave, whatever you call it. The only thing about that conversation, it must be something born from inside us. We must be honest. We must be sincere. We must be truthful. And we must accept there's something wrong about this country. And we can't go on like this.
There's a
The leaders should not play games. You know, the usual games.
Yes.
To them, it will be an opportunity to cool tempers, to go into 2027 and win. No! We are looking at this country when you, William Ruto, are no longer there, but your great-granddaughter is there. What kind of country will that granddaughter be living in? That's what the conversation is about. It's not about an election. It's not about who wins and who loses. It's not about one term. No. We must abandon one term and all those kind of things and say there is something fundamentally wrong with a country that God has gifted with resources. A country with so many educated people, with such a serious capacity, not making progress at all the time going backwards, doing things which people should have done 30 years ago. A government abducting its citizens, senselessly killing young people. It can't be about conversation.
How ripe are we for that conversation? Because
we are very ripe. We are more than ripe. Because there's only one thing. Either we sit down and talk as Kenyans, or this country will go down. The country is going down. It will go down. There will be no country. And Jad, it pains me. It makes me very sad. Because the reality of this country going down is ever present. And people don't see it. I sympathize with the rich in this country. I was having tea with a group chairman of one of the biggest blue chip companies, one of the biggest companies in the country. I don't want to say first, second, or third because then somebody will know what it is. It is just there. When you do your finger like this, it is one of those. And I was telling him, it is you people who should take a keen interest in this country. Basically, I have almost no interest in this country. What do I have? It is you who will feel the pain when the country goes down. So this conversation is the only thing we can have. This conversation to me is a gimmick. It's just a political game. And it's going to work. Is it you I was telling or I was telling Richard? It will work. Ruto has embarked on a journey. It will work for him. But it is temporal. I'm not looking at Manyora. I'm not looking at Raila or Kalonzo Musyoka. I'm looking at our great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren. I'm not looking of Kenya of 2032 or 2037, least of all, not of 2027. I'm looking at Kenya 50 years from now.
So let me ask you.
When a majority of these educated people will be refugees. Some 10, 15 years or so. And all these educated men and women are refugees. Some PhD holder is a house girl in Mozambique. That is the Kenya I'm trying to make Kenyans see. It's where you want to drive yourself. So we must sit down and talk. I sympathize with people who live in these big neighborhoods. When I say, people say, Manyora, we will kwenda Karen, mbona unaingilia watu wa Karen? No. I would also want to live in Karen, but it was not possible. It has not been possible. I don't feel anything bad about me not being there. I don't feel envy that people are there. Because some people must live there, others must live where I live. But I feel sorry for them. Because, like I've said, unless we have this conversation, unless we stop cheap games, you just wake up one day and find that the world is upside down.
So what is your expectation of this compensation team? What is your expectation from them? Should they say, let's not talk about compensation, let's first have this national conversation?
No, their assignment is clear. Their assignment is about compensation. They can't expand the assignment. This is a narrow assignment, very narrow. It boils down to how far are we going in compensation. You see, these are also very difficult questions. So who do you want to compensate? The ones who were killed last year or the ones who died in Kisumu in 1969?
From 2017.
They have been told?
Yes.
Why 2017? Why 2017? Why do you want to forget that in 2007 people died? Is that too far for us as a country? How about the Wagara massacre? The shootings when Jomo Kenyatta had gone to open New Nyanza General Hospital, Russia, popularly known as Russia, when the police mauled down Luo people. I mean, those are questions you can't answer within the context of this confined thing you are calling compensation headed by Muta. Even the question of just how far back do we go is a very serious question. It will derail their work. The question of who? Who do we compensate? Are we compensating those people that we can directly attribute to government? If somebody died, we must first of all attribute him to government. That's government which killed him or maimed him. Could he also have been killed by forces other than government? That person in Kenyatta Hospital for the past 1 year or 6 months, you know, there are such a people.
Yes.
How sure are we it is government that caused that? How if it is some other people? Those are not easy questions you can address. So compensation, in the manner in which it's being conceived, to me I look at it as simply a political game, which will serve its political purpose. But in terms of addressing serious issues, it cannot address serious issues. But it can provide votes for somebody. It has political benefits.
Because this
temporal political benefits.
This is one of the 10 points agenda from Raila Odinga as they were joining UDA compensation. Now they have a 5-member team. I don't know what you think about the team, Gabriel Oguda.
So before we talk about the team, 10-member
the 10
ODM. Kenya is not about ODM and Kenya Kwanza. Kenya is far bigger than Raila and Ruto, far bigger than ODM and UDA. So that 10-point agenda should be about the things that concern the two of them, not Kenyans. If you are talking about issues that concern Kenyans, it can't be about Raila and Ruto. It can't be about ODM and UDA. No, because they are not. UDA is not Kenya. ODM is not Kenya. You see, these are the questions I'm saying. That narrow provision of whatever you are calling it, whether the compensation team,
yes,
it can't address serious issues. Because those are ODM and UDA questions.
And then
in terms of the...
now they have 5-member team.
The 5-member team.
To look at these issues
It
now.
is the typical Kenyan way. And that's where even if we were to have the conclave, even if Kenyans will say, okay, fine, Raila, we respect you.
Yeah.
Let's have a conclave. How to arrive at the people, the members of that conclave, even the team to lead it. So you have asked me about this team.
Yes, Javas.
It betrays
Gabriel.
the usual people. That's the usual Raila, the usual people. They put there the same suspect. It's never about that this is a very serious undertaking. And therefore we need to look for the very best we can get to be part of this. It will be people who are correct, people who are close to them, people who give them comfort because of their known. It will be people they want to make happy. But above all, Judge, it will be the same criminals. By criminal, I don't mean the people are criminals. It's a manner of saying the same people.
Who let us down as
They
a country.
can never, no, not necessarily let us down, whether they have done good or not.
Yeah.
They are like in horse racing, sometimes a horse is given blinkers so that it can only see uko mbele. It is only distractions huku. So our politicians like Raila wanaona tu hivi. Hawezi ona mtu wako pande hii, anaona tu ile the same people they have been seeing.
Yes.
They can't go beyond them. They are the same people.
Yeah.
Even if you give Raila another 100 chances to constitute a team,
Yes.
it will be the same people. He will pick from the same catchment. If you give any of them, even Kalonzo, become president, constitute your cabinet, it will be from the same people. You just pick the same people. They are so limited in the way they see.
Then can we appreciate Uhuru for what he did with his cabinet ministers?
Well, that's why Uhuru shocked people a bit. At least the first person to come out was Matiang'i. Who is this Matiang'i guy?
Joe Musheru.
When they were coming from inside the
Yes.
State House, wanakuja being introduced, named and being introduced. Matiang'i, Joe, at least that was a major departure. But even then, if you follow it nicely, you'll find Matiang'i had to do with Nyachai. The same Masharia had been working for the Uhurus at NCBA, and they are the same. They can't see outside that. You see, it works for jurisdictions like America. One, because development of manpower has gotten to a point where almost everybody you get has sufficient exposure and education and what have you and experience. But here, you need to do serious search to reach people who can help you. So the systems are so operational in America. Things have gotten to a point where you can almost say they are on autopilot.
Almost everyone is qualified.
Almost everybody is qualified and systems are working. Everything is working. If you are in charge of power in America and they have never had a blackout in the last 20 or 30 years, it's not like Kenya where blackouts come at the slightest rumor of rain, stima zimepotea. I don't know whether you get me. So, in other words, we are at a point in our development where you need to have the best men and women for everything you want to do in this country. So talking about saving the country from collapse by way of a committee or a commission, even something like this one of compensation of victims, you need men and women who can ask questions and go back to the appointing authority. Not men who will just be happy to draw allowances, go to Mombasa, laugh and do it, then provide some stupid report. Who will go back to Raila and Ruto and tell them, look here, we have a problem as we move around. This deadline, this going to 2017, people are asking, why not 2016? Why not 2013 when Ruto took over and Uhuru? Why not 2007? Why not during Moi's time? Then why not during Kenyatta's time?
Why don't we solve everything once and for all?
And then you advise them, the way these things look, this is too superficial to not help this country. It may take longer to achieve what we are suggesting, and we may not even be there. Now you may form another team, so that our alliances may die, but the country will benefit.
But don't you think, Prof, the victims don't really care about...
Who are the victims first? I've asked
the
Where
mothers,
are the victims?
The mothers of the Gen
Where are they?
Those who have...
Are you sure these people? Are you sure these
Commission.
people will get the victims? All of them. If we can't even allocate houses properly, how can we allocate compensation money? There are fundamental issues you need to address. Very fundamental issues. It cannot be a superficial engagement.
So what is the hope for Kenya finally?
I have repeated this many times. We must sit down as a country.
But they've just said if we sit down, we'll have the usual names. So
no, I'm saying, I did say, when we sit down, we must be sincere. Raila and Manyora and Ruto and anybody else who has lived reasonably long in this country must know that Kenya is not doing well. We are not supposed to we are not where we are supposed to be. We must know, as indeed all of us should be aware, that with the proper leadership in this country, 10 years will be better than Singapore. 10 years is too long for us to be at Singapore. We will have overtaken Singapore. That's the country we are talking about. That's Kenya. Kenya is at a point where with a proper engagement, we will overtake all this. We are number 6 in Africa. What does Ethiopia have to compare to Kenya? This confusion in Nigeria, just population. We overtake them. South Africa with all their issues, we just overtake them. I'm not seeing an economy that can rival Kenya. And they know it.
So we just have to be sincere.
And be sincere. Let's have a conversation around why are we doing so badly? Why is this country about to collapse? What is wrong with our politics? Can we write our politics to open the door for development? Simple.
Well, thanks for tuning into that conversation. Tell me what you think about compensation, national conversation, and what the president should do now. Goodbye for now.